Welcome to the listeners to the NCR podcast.
There we go. So, welcome to the NCR podcast.
Dubreucq.
We've got Matt Dubreucq. We've got Paul Tremblay, Pete Shaw,
How's the echo?
the new host. Last podcast, I forgot to press record. So I made sure that this time I pressed record. So you're going to hear.
We had so much good stuff.
And
It was juicy. It was X-rated. It was secrets behind the scenes of the games.
And the fans will never hear it.
No, they
fans
will
will
because
never-
we had a backup,
Oh.
which is
I'm just kidding.
like over there, the video recorder always has a backup going, but it's just like really low quality. So at the end of the podcast, PT's like, oh man, we've been talking for a while. How long have we been talking? And this gives us the time. And I'm like, it says 00000. I'm like, it's not recording.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
And then Pete just
We had a
got
good laugh.
instantly beat red.
Oh man, I was so embarrassed.
Whatever. Fuck.
Oh, I'm learning. I'll never do it again.
Nate has to come back.
I know. You know what? The best thing is, I think I'm telling myself I think Nate's done that before, but I just
He has.
to
He
make
has.
myself
Like,
feel better.
One of his first ones. I remember.
Okay. So that was my second one. So I
Or you
got
didn't
one
turn
out of
on
the
the
way, and
camera
now,
or
and
something
now
like
we can
that,
do a good
yeah.
one.
Then you're good.
So Matt Dubreucq, Flowmaster, one of the best CrossFit coaches in the world. You're a 10-year affiliate owner, CrossFit Laval. You're an athlete. You went to French Throwdown. You've been to regionals as an individual and a team competitor. You are a former national sailing team, Canadian national sailing team member. So you have like a lot on your resume. A lot on your resume.
Like they say, a lot of potential, but no medals.
Yeah.
You just have contractile potential.
How would you have a potential?
No, but I think he had the potential, but then I think the 10-year affiliate is productive application of force.
Yeah. So that's probably my first
You know?
success.
Yeah.
My first success is with
Exactly.
10-year affiliate.
What's it like having a 10-year affiliate? Do you feel like it's flown by? Like you're going to the 10-year affiliate gathering. They're having this in Whistler,
I
right?
feel that it went fast and it went very slow. Because sometime, on Facebook, you get like Facebook remembers like 4 years ago or 5 years ago or 7 years ago or 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I see some pictures and I can't really it seems so far. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like I'm still learning so much that it's like if I just opened the affiliate yesterday. So
you opened it in 2009.
2009 June.
When you opened it, like what made you open it? Like, what was the reason you opened your affiliate? Was it just because you liked wall balls and pull-ups, or was it like?
It is probably not the best reason. I opened the affiliate because I was retiring. I knew that was my last quadrennial Olympic campaign. And I was studying to be a phys ed teacher, and I realized I didn't want to do that.
You're studying to be a phys ed teacher.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
I
know
Where
knew
were
that.
you? Where did you go to school for that?
Montreal University.
Oh wow. Did you get your degree?
I never finished for last year.
You just quit
Yeah.
to open your affiliate.
So see, that's another fail. And
Don't quit school, kids.
but I got a degree
if you
before
do,
that
you might
in
open
business.
a 10-year affiliate.
I did get my first degree in 2003, but then that was I went back to school after, and I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And really, I took a punch card at CrossFit Montreal. That was one of the early and first affiliate. I think they're going on 13 years now.
That was
CrossFit Montreal, owned by
Jacques Ambroise.
Jacques Ambroise.
With I think the
Is-
sister
who's-
Regine Ambroise.
who's Regine Ambroise's brother.
Regine comes as a member.
Regine
of
is
NCR.
a long-time member.
Yeah.
Best dancer.
One of our first members.
Oh, yeah.
Because
For sure,
did
in the first
Regine go
time.
to Luzin as well?
Yeah.
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 And still a member today.
And because I like that, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna open an affiliate because I hate retiring from a sport and not being competitive. So that was my way to ensure that I would have 4 hours a day to work out.
So you
And
opened
that's
up a
the
gym
story of Matt's life.
you opened up a gym because you wanted to work out more with your friends. That
I
sounds
didn't-
a lot like Reza and I, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, why don't you talk about that? Like when you and Reza, like,
Oh, man.
because I didn't come on. And for those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, like, I didn't come on board until later in CrossFit NCR. Like, I was actually a member first, and then I was a member while I was training at a different gym as a personal trainer, and then later I came on. But Reza and Paul started the gym,
Yeah.
and they just like met at.
Oh man, it's bad to say, but I wanted a better place to work out.
You just
And
wanted a
then-
better
yeah.
place. Because
And-
you were at EDC, or you know
we're at Luzin.
right,
Well,
right,
it's not that Luzin wasn't good. It's just the facility was bad.
Right.
And
Small
Yeah, small. But it was just basically like, it's like you just loved working out so much that you finally found something that like you could do while making a living. And it originally wasn't driven by, I'm going to change lives. Right? For me, it wasn't.
No, absolutely. Like
It
at
changed
first,
mine, and you knew like it changed yours, it changed mine. And when you start, it's like I'm gonna continue changing my life, and then it just turns into like, wow, like the potential and the power that you have with an affiliate is huge, and it turns into that. But originally, it was like, hey man, like
100%.
let's work out.
100%. I mean, when I was personal training, like I knew I liked personal training for those reasons. Like I knew it was pretty much what I wanted to do with my life because I could see firsthand I was helping people. But when I found CrossFit, like I got attached to CrossFit because I thought it was cool. Like I got attached to CrossFit because I enjoy doing it myself. I'm like, this is really cool. This is going to be fun. Like my clients are going to have fun doing this.
At
you
first,
know?
I'll be honest. Like, one of my selling coach told me to go check out CrossFit.com in January 2007. I went to check it. It said Forging Elite Fitness. The first workout was Helen, crushed me, and
Which is actually the story you tell in every
seminar.
Where you give the CrossFit, what is CrossFit lecture.
Yeah, it crushed me, and because it crushed me, and I had a pretty high standard for myself. Like I thought that I was an elite athlete. I was like, this is for elite athletes. So at first, I didn't even think CrossFit was for. I didn't even understand that it could affect regular people. Like, I was like, I'm gonna start a gym for badass athletes and national team members.
Like me, so I can show people how devastating this is.
Yeah.
No matter how fit you are.
And the first article I read, when I didn't know how to read English very well, was the catchy title, like killer workouts, and it would pretty much explain how you could die during these workouts. And that's what like got me. I was like, okay, this is really intense. This is not for everyone. I want to be part of this. And really, it turned into the opposite. This is for everyone, and I want everyone to be part of it.
Yeah, and you loved it so much that you got, the opportunity to have a voice to, transmit that message out. But originally it was like, hey, I wanted to die working out.
So you decided
still like that, actually.
you opened up CrossFit Laval.
Yeah, I took a punch card at CrossFit Montreal, and I went to 3 classes. Then I told the owner, hey, what's up, Dubreucq? I want to open an affiliate. And
After 3 classes.
yeah, and mind you, I was the only one because I've done it like on my own a little bit, out of a van, like out of a sailing team van.
Yeah.
So back in 2007, when I started as affiliate, like I could do butterfly pull-ups, no one could do it. Like I thought I was pretty good.
Right.
Like I could do the latest stuff. And he said, you know what? Coach for me a little bit, and then we'll open one. And then I still have.
So you started coaching at CrossFit Montreal.
I still have 6 classes in that punch card.
They don't expire after a year?
No, I've asked. They don't.
They should. They
They
really
don't
should. I'll give you
expire.
some business advice.
In Quebec, it's illegal to make it expire. So I know they're still
Oh,
good.
really?
They're still good. So once again, I don't recommend it, but I took 4 classes at an affiliate.
And then you started. So it's safe to say that you probably made some mistakes that you learned from?
Major mistakes.
Major mistakes. So what would have been like the first one? You probably realized after like you opened the doors on day 1, you're like, I fucked up.
No, when I opened the door, honestly, because the level was so low and I was still way above the level in terms of not necessarily fitness, overall fitness, but understanding of what it takes to become an elite athlete. Because
Right.
I think that at least, even though you might think that sailing is not necessarily like the most. You know, it's not as tough physically as hockey, wrestling, or
Yeah, I
You
do.
don't think of it as like an athletic. You don't think of it as like the top athletic sport in terms of like physical ability. You think of it as like a strategic
yeah.
sort of.
But at the same time, though, it's extremely similar because you need to deal with a lot of different conditions. So basically,
Right.
sailing when there's almost no wind versus when there's a storm is the same thing as doing like a sprint versus doing like a long endurance. And
So you have to change your method
all the time. So it was so close to CrossFit that I ended up making an easy switch.
Right.
Like at first, I remember on paper, like we went to those regionals. No, it wasn't regionals. Sectionals in
Yeah.
New Brunswick. I remember seeing all the guys, and like on paper, they should have all beat me. They're all superior athletes, but they didn't know how to compete.
Right.
Like that's when I realized that I could help. At first, I fought athletes
Mm-hmm.
because I ended up qualifying for regionals and going to Calgary and all this, but solely on the fact that I knew how to strategize, how to
Mhm.
maximize
Mhm.
exactly what we say in the lecture, how to maximize like a weak strength
Yeah.
and weak cardiorespiratory endurance, but just with a really good
Or even that could even
Software.
tie into the psychological aspect of it.
yeah. But
Right.
even when I was going to regionals, like you were a superior athlete than me the first few times we saw each other like in individuals. Like
Yeah, 2013.
yeah, guaranteed.
I've never beat you at regionals.
That's it. But I still, but I would still beat you just on, like, I think just on competing, even though you're a good competitor. But
You mean today?
no.
Okay.
no. I said 2013.
Hold the mic to your mouth.
No. Now I
Yeah,
don't.
no,
I don't
I
beat you
remember
on
you-
anything other than GSG sit-ups
Running.
and running.
Yeah. You finished fifth that
And
year.
sailing.
That was a
Yeah.
very good year for you.
And
Yeah.
if sailing
That
was,
was
in
close.
CrossFit, he'd beat you too.
Yeah. Sailing.
Yeah, sailing. Probably I'd beat you at that. I don't know, and what else? Maybe like if we do a Dubreucq challenge.
Probably. But if we
Maybe.
let's bring it back to your affiliate, because you said you made a lot of mistakes early on, and I remember we talked about this in an earlier podcast. Like, what is it that someone could have told you, like the day before opening up an affiliate, to make sure you didn't make like those major mistakes?
The biggest mistake we've done is at one point we have 3 programming in the same hour.
Oh, what?
3 what?
3 programming. We had CrossFit.com, then the regular CrossFit Laval, and then the competitors programming in the
So wait.
same hour.
Ben's
And-
over in the corner here laughing because he remembers
So
it.
were they expected to do it all, or they could?
They
pick?
weren't expecting to do it all.
They
They
could
had to
pick.
choose.
Oh.
So people would come in and choose from 3 options. That was the most ridiculous
That's insane.
ideas
That was
I ever
last
had.
week.
But
When was
my
that?
God.
Early on, or
2010,
So-
2011.
okay, yeah, early on.
Yeah.
So a year, 2 years in.
And so the thing I would have known, and then at one point we switched everyone on the same thing, and we switched on the toughest programming, and that was the best thing we've ever done. So like if you want to know, learn how to scale people properly and put the goals really high up. We're talking about RX and all this. Yes, the
Yeah.
RX needs to be pretty hard to get, and then it's a matter of good coaching that allows the people to see at one point that they'll be able to get there. But when we made that switch, it was definitely probably one of the biggest stepping stone in the gym. Yeah.
Like realization for the gym that how to get all my athletes working towards something
Yeah.
similar and working towards getting better.
yeah, and not making a 3 different groups in the gym.
Yeah. So how? What program was it? That
We
.com.
took
You said
the
.com was one.
yeah, we used the .com for a long time.
No,
Yeah,
Which
you,
one
you
won?
still use .com.
like what program did you pick out of the 3 to
Oh,
continue with?
yeah.
Out of the 3, when we made that decision, we switched to the in-house program and the one we were making competitors do.
Okay.
So we used the competitors program of 1 hour, right? That's when we came up with a second session because we're like, okay, not
Right.
everyone can do all this, but so we did the 1 hour and everyone would do the main bulk of the programming together, regardless if you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced, and would obviously scale it. And then if you were a competitor, back then we had lots of competitors, you would come back, like take a 1 hour rest, come back, or like come back later and do the next session. And then we made a big difference between,
So
like-
your gym really started out with just people who wanted to train multiple hours in the day.
no, but I
Oh.
convinced them to.
Okay. That's wild.
Do Do you want to join CrossFit Laval? Okay. How many hours a day can you train? 1. Get out.
No, but really, I would like pick people. It'd be because it goes back to like we wanted to have a gym to work out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
honestly, my first members, I would scan them to see who would be my training partner, and
Right.
just be like, "I like you. Why don't you come at 2? There's no classes. You're my new training partner."
Yeah.
And then we're gonna train for 2 hours, and then maybe you should do a class after.
Yeah. Some of the issues that we found with that, honestly, because it's very similar to how we started, and we tried to still have, or include people into as much as we could, but even when we started, we didn't have the mentality of coaches should do the workouts.
No, I know. Because
You know?
I remember when I first joined, you guys, you had very, very few classes on the schedule. Maybe 3 a day.
Yeah.
And
4.
like 3 or 4 a day.
Yeah.
And I remember I would start coming to classes, and then, I was starting to like win workouts and stuff. And then all of a sudden I get a text from like Reza. I'm like, do you want to come? He's like, you want to come train with us?
Yeah.
Great. Between class hours, like that's so cool, whatever, exclusive like workout club with the coach is great. And we were doing at the time,
Reza was, what were we doing? Comp train, I think.
before that it was Outlaw. Yeah, it was the Outlaw way.
Wow.
Reza was on
we
the
were doing the
Outlaw
Outlaw
way.
way.
Oh, hard.
And so anyway, and
Yeah.
we followed this pattern for a while.
Yeah.
Eventually what we did was we took our level 2. And at the time all the competitors, quote unquote, were doing comp train, and the classes were on a separate schedule that Reza was programming. We did our level 2. We came back. We're like, this is it. Everyone needs to do comp train, because we knew that we didn't want to switch from that because it was working. We were getting fitter. It was a good program. And so we were like, all right, we're going to start to program the entire gym on comp train every single day. And like, I mean, from that day, like it was a noticeable difference in like the community. We started being able to
Absolutely.
do classes.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge change for
And
the
I
gym.
think that I don't know if we have these conversations a lot with people who want to open up new gyms at level 1s, and when I say that to people, it's like they already know.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's just a known now in the community. It's like, hey, if your coaches aren't doing the class workouts, what the hell are you selling? If your affiliate owner is not standing beside you, doing the snatch progression while another coach is coaching it, what the hell are you doing? If you're not practicing what you preach, you're lost, right? And I think that that's kind of like finally being
spread out.
yeah, spread out and known. So like if we would have known that from the beginning,
like, is this something that did Greg know about this idea when he first started, or is it someone like you?
No, because if you go back to the original CrossFit gym in Santa Cruz, each hour would be different.
Right.
Each coach
Depending-
was in charge of his own programming.
Right. Wow.
So if you would come at 9, it'd be
Interesting.
different than
That's
10,
interesting.
it'd be different than 11.
So it's a huge learning process. I mean, it goes back to just being like open source. That's what CrossFit is, and everyone's learning from each other, right? So I mean, I think in a sense, like you're making these mistakes, but being a 10-year affiliate owner, like you guys are up there with some of the oldest affiliates in the entire world. Like you guys had to pave the way for the rest of the community. So I think like this is why it's important now to have these podcasts and like start to spread the word for people new coming in, deciding to open up gyms. Like they can learn from this stuff.
yeah, and you're still alive and profitable,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Like
That's
what
what's
happened?
important, yeah.
What happened though? You adjusted.
Yeah.
You started a gym because you wanted to compete and have friends to work out with, and you're like, wait a minute, I got zero in my bank account because nobody's coming to the gym, and people are
Something-
like, hey, there's a separation in the gym. There's the competitors. There's these people. And it's like, so what are the adjustments that you made?
Something needs to
Like after you
change.
realized that this was a mistake.
It's happening even more and more, and I think that CrossFit is helping us along the way with like pushing CrossFit Health, and with as much as like some people don't like the change on .com and all this, they really push the fact that the people that need CrossFit the most is the general population.
Right.
We are used to seeing 1% of the fittest people on the planet in affiliates, and we forget that it is not uncommon to see a 50 years old having a hard time to tie up their shoes.
Yeah.
And they're the people that need the most help. They're the people you need to think about when you want new members, because you'll have a large impact on their life. They'll thank you for it for the rest of their life. So they'll be extremely loyal, and they'll bring like their entire friends and family.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where the money is,
Mhm.
because it's all cool to like do stuff just for fun, but you want to make money. But so
For
we
you-
we definitely shifted in the last years. You can ask my members. Some people didn't like it, but we definitely shifted towards it needs to be a gym where everyone feels welcome, where it's not about necessarily being the best competitors. It's being like the best that you can be. And our competitors, we still, like, I still enjoy to compete, right? Because that's who I am, and I still surround myself with some people that like that. But I think that it needs to be taken on your private time, not on the gym time,
Right.
right? So we do it like outside of hours. Sometimes we do it in my garage.
Yeah.
You have a garage too, and yeah, I think that like what needs to happen at the gym and the message of the gym is like that's where regular people need to celebrate their first pull up, their 80 pounds weight loss.
Mhm.
But Doobie, you didn't make that realization a year ago.
Yeah, like was this a
Uh,
gradual?
but-
You know,
was this
like,
gradual over time?
I didn't make that
or-
realization a year ago, but because of events, like a year ago we moved,
Right.
and that made it like a good timing
You
to
got a
also
small. You got a
fully
s-
change.
You got a smaller space.
Yeah.
So basically, it sounds like you almost had to prioritize
Mm-hmm.
what was going on physically inside your affiliate, and you were like, okay, I only have so much space. Like, what's going to happen? Am I going to run these types of classes? Or am I
Yeah, and
gonna
it happens just normally also. Like, I mean, competitors for every single gyms, and I have no problem with putting myself in the group of competitors, we're like almost just liabilities. Like, we
Right.
cost a lot of money. We break a lot of equipment. We need a lot of equipment. We need a lot of space. We need a lot of time. So, obviously, if you get
It's true.
smaller, like, they're the first one that are going to go.
Yeah.
We're also high needs.
Mhm.
And because we have a big ego that doesn't go through the door, we usually will never have the ownership of our destiny. So most of competitors will blame the programming, the gym, the changes. That's why they didn't do
It's a
good.
really good point.
Yeah.
And so like naturally, if you make a change in that direction, you're gonna lose almost all competitors until you have down to earth competitors that understand that they're not the center of the universe.
Right.
And they're really not that good.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I kept the only
Like-
game athlete we ever had. She's still there because she understands
Yeah.
that she is not the center of the universe. She's there to inspire people and
Yeah.
work out with people.
And you know what? Like,
That's amazing.
yeah, like you're not Matt Frazier, you're not Pat Vellner. Like, I'll make exceptions for those guys in our gym any day, but you can make a difference between those guys and the people who are just trying to be competitors, right? But
Yeah, no, for sure.
that was a year ago that you guys.
Made the big shift. I can say that a year ago to now, like we have a huge shift in the gym. Like before it was like slowly happening because yes, like in 2000, I'd say 2011 to 2013, I can claim that we would sometimes show up to competition, like for example, like the Sweat RX with 5 teams
Right.
of 5 people.
You guys had like 4 teams of regionals in 2014
Like-
or something
Like
like
so,
that.
Yeah.
so like we used to have like a large pool of competitors.
And you could argue that was like the focus of.
And there were like what we use, the way I used to see it was like, I don't really like F1 driving, but I understand that F1 competitions improve the gear shifts in my cars.
Right.
So I understand that there's a need for it, and I don't want to stop it. I just don't necessarily enjoy watching it.
Right.
And to me, like that group was our F1s. So I wasn't forcing people to like what they do, but I was like, if we research with that group, then the service is going to be better because the programming is going to improve, the equipment is going to improve, the coach need to have better technique to be able to coach them, so it's going to improve. So I still believe that having
There's a need for like the elite athlete in the gym. Yeah, and I
Yes.
don't think people would argue against that,
No,
right?
definitely.
Like,
but this is also like this. Matt has a very like high level of understanding. Being a flow master, having a 10-year affiliate, like this is your understanding of CrossFit and the needs for certain groups, and being able to see through sort of the fuzz of what's happening in your gym and like separate the needs for different demographics and styles of working out. That's a higher level of understanding that not a lot of people can really get
yeah.
to. you
So
know?
so let's talk about that then. So you go from you're a 10-year affiliate. You have 10,000 square feet.
At one point, now we're
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But wait, you decide that you need to downsize for whatever reason. You guys are getting kicked out of your building, or the gym isn't profitable with however members, with whatever rent for 10,000 square feet. So where is your head at when you think, do I downsize and keep doing this? Do I just simply close down? Because we're hearing that, right? Like, we're hearing some affiliate owners that just go too big and then they can't make it. How do...
They're finding there's like an optimal size for the gym.
Yeah, exactly. So
I had members...
Did you think about closing down?
I had members that told me they thought I was going to close down. But honestly, that never crossed my mind in terms of... I still opened the gym because I enjoy working out, and I still enjoy working out.
And that didn't change.
That didn't change. So I still want a gym.
So whether or not you were gonna have a 300 people person gym, or a 50 person gym, you're still gonna pay that affiliate fee and be a CrossFit gym.
Absolutely, because the reasons why I'm in CrossFit evolved, but are still present. So now I understand the role I have to play in terms that I can help people. We have one guy that went from 340 pounds to 185. I never thought that could happen.
That's insane.
So that I understand that we can play a huge role in these people's life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, way more than I thought at first. Like, you'll look better naked, you're going to lose 20 pounds, but it's not. Like, who cares if you didn't? Like, it's just it's aesthetic. So that changed my vision, but it didn't change the fact that, like, if you tell me, like, after this podcast we're gonna work out, I'm gonna be hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, of course.
It didn't change that. So there was never like, I'm gonna close. There was more like, how are we gonna manage this?
Yeah.
And the reason for downsizing, I have no problem saying it. Like, I like being able to know every single member. And at this point, I wanted to still be able to walk in the gym and feel that most of the people I know, and if I don't know them, I have time to like talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
And if I decide to go bigger, like I was at one point, if I want to be profitable, then I need to reach a point that it becomes really hard for me, the owner, to feel that I'm part of my own community.
Yeah.
And that's only with my own limitation, with me working on weekends, with me having 2 kids. So it might change. In 10 years we might talk again, and I might have like a 500 person gym because now like I feel I can do it. But so I'm not saying it's the optimum size for everyone. Just in my life at that moment, that's what I felt I could handle properly.
What I noticed with you is that you're really good at separating yourself from what's happening in the gym and in the CrossFit world and with .com and main site, and you're able to look at like the 10,000 foot view of everything that's happening, separate yourself and look at it objectively and be like, how can this become a good thing for the gym, and start to make connections. Like, one thing that I find and this goes back to like your higher sort of understanding of the CrossFit world and the methodology and everything, is like what CrossFit's really good at is, remember 2 years ago at the summit, Bosman was talking about bringing the salt shaker back to the middle of the circle, back to the
middle of the table.
That's exactly it. And CrossFit sees all this thing happening, and they're almost trying to pull it in the opposite direction, I think, in hopes that gyms like yours do exactly what you're doing, right? It's like you had such this huge focus on competition, and now you're seeing like, okay, we need to just maybe come back towards, health just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but now we're being influenced by what's going on CrossFit.com and all that stuff.
But I think there's a bias.
And there's a balance.
Of, at our biggest point, our best competitors, let's face it, I finished 3rd at regionals in 2011. My max clean and jerk was 220. My max snatch was 165. That shows you how bad the other ones were, right?
Yeah. It was early on in the game.
It's early on. And then in 2013, I fucking PR'd my overhead squat, like, and all this, and I still finished 5th with like very limited like capacity. Like, my clean was still at that time 255. That was my max clean that I overhead squat, I remember. So what I'm getting at is like, when when that era where I had lots of competitors, I
Yeah.
think I have the same level in the gym now.
Oh yeah.
They're just not called competitors,
Yeah,
and I
they're
would
just
say-
normal people, which
yeah.
is amazing.
which is amazing.
You
But
got guys snatching 225 pounds in the gym, and you're just like
Yeah.
walking
yeah,
right
one
by
guy
'em.
that just PR'd his
Right?
snatch.
It's
Like,
just- yeah.
that's it. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, you look at all the people in our gym. Like, there's guys that are just doing crazy
'Kay,
things.
Listen, we were killing ourselves to get Jamie Collins and Milen to get muscle ups in 2012.
Yeah.
I got my 930 class full of moms
Yeah.
hitting bar muscle
It's
ups.
insane.
You know, and it's just like, hey, cool, like try not the chicken wing, pull away from the bar a little bit, and move on. You know, it's
can't-
not like,
yeah.
oh my God. Some
And
woman
you can't
is
tell
like,
me that having
Yeah.
an RX doesn't help with that. Right?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
You
Come
know,
on.
like having something to strive for.
But so I think that when we say
Yeah.
we have less competitors, is because we have less people that now decide to commit to doing like a trip to Argentina to do a competition,
Right.
to doing a trip to Miami to do
Yeah.
a competition.
Yeah,
Where
the-
before,
well, the competitive landscape has completely changed from
Yeah.
that same.
yeah,
for
but
sure.
the level, I'll still
of
argue
the community
that
as a whole.
your gym, my gym, and there's a couple of others, but our average member
Yeah.
is better than like the best member of most of gyms.
For sure. And what's so cool is that you're still talking about the people that are like even less fit than you ever saw before are still walking in because you've got a group of good coaches that you've evolved over the 10-year period, and you're able to bring them in and foster a community where literally every single person is welcome. So that's really
Which is
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
if
So
we wrap this up,
yeah, let's wrap this up. We got
if we wrap, yeah,
30 minutes, so let's wrap it up.
if we wrap it up, do you want to be a 20-year affiliate, 30-year affiliate?
Absolutely, yeah.
What's the next step? Like, how do you get there?
Honestly, at the moment, I'm trying. 10 years in, I'm trying to learn the business side, and
Jody Gain was telling me about this.
Really?
And
Yeah, a couple of years ago, he was talking to
and
me.
it's ironic because that's the degree that I did, but I never made a decision in the gym. I always use what Coach Glassman said. I never looked at return on investment. I never looked at like goods and bads. I always just look, is this gonna give a better service? And that's how I always made my decision.
Which speaks volumes considering you're open for 10 years.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
times are changing, and the fact that I want to attract people now, I want to attract people that don't know about CrossFit, or even better, the people I want to attract are the people that believe they cannot do CrossFit. And so for that,
Prove them wrong.
I want to understand the business aspect of like how to go get them.
That's
Because
cool.
it's going to be different. It's going to take like a bunch of our friends that talk to them about it.
Yeah.
It's going to take me that probably offers like a special on-ramp for them. It's going to
Yeah.
it's going to be a little bit different. So
gotta
that's
get-
what I mean by business.
You are literally in the age of build it and they will come.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you opened up an affiliate when there was nobody opening up affiliates. So people hear about CrossFit, they go to your gym. You're not in the age of that anymore, and affiliate owners have to realize that anymore, or now. You know, it's people say like, "Oh, you don't need to do marketing. Your athletes are marketing. They're the ones telling their friends." Like, no, it's not like that anymore. You know what? Because your athlete is telling someone about CrossFit. They don't remember the name of your CrossFit gym, but they heard CrossFit, so they'll go to the gym nearest them.
Absolutely.
So
or
now
even
it's-
to the
you have-
global gym.
Yeah, and they'll
Because we
do their
have
own thing.
Functional fitness
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
So there is, and that's an awesome point. It's like now there's a business side of it that you have to explore, and a marketing side of it that you have to explore. And the marketing side of it is you got to get people inside of your gym for
Yeah.
the right reasons. Change your lives.
Absolutely.
Because you know that you have the service that if they walk in, they're going to stay. Right?
That's awesome.
Cool. So what's next for Matt Dubreucq? He's doing the international online qualifier. If you want to follow him as an athlete, you can follow him on this leaderboard.
And you can follow Force 5.
Force 5 programming.
Yeah.
Where do they find that if they want more information?
Force5HQ.com.
Force5HQ.com. You
Awesome.
can go to CrossFitLaval.com for
CA.
information. Oh,
We're Canadian.
Yeah, us
CrossFitLaval.ca
too.
for more information. You can follow Matt on Instagram. Say your Instagram handle.
Mathieu Dubreucq, but just type in like CrossFit Laval and click on contact, and then I'll hit you up, because it's
Done.
going to be hard to, unless you write it under the screen.
Okay.
Like my name is
Perfect.
hard to write.
I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, here we go.
I'll write it out.
Done.
Amazing. All
Awesome.
right.
Let's go eat.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.